It's time once again for another episode of the Buckhead Business Show. Being brought to you by the Buckhead-Business-Association. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta. And now, here's your host for today's episode.
All right, Rich Casanova here alongside Craig Williams. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, buddy.
Is this an amazing day in Buckhead? Always is, right?
It is. It's always better in Buckhead.
Oh,
it's always amazing in Buckhead.
That's our new catchphrase. It's better in Buckhead, yeah. Or Buckhead's better. So speaking of Buckhead, we're on the Pro Business Channel studios here in our Buckhead studio, and this is the Buckhead Business Association's radio show, sponsored and brought to you by the Buckhead Business Association. And this is the Buckhead Business Show. So we want to jump right into the show in just a moment. But again, if you're not familiar with the Buckhead Business Association, we encourage you to visit their website, which is just buckhead-business.org. So if you go to their site, you can find out all their events. They do breakfast every Thursday.
Weekly breakfast, except for the third Thursday.
Right here outside a window at the City Club of Buckhead.
Yes, they do.
And then once a month, they do an after-hours mixer.
Mm-hmm.
They're always looking for folks that want to consider membership, so we always put a plug in and encourage folks to participate and become a member, support your business community, but amazing place to connections. Business happens right there.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
All right, so let's go ahead and welcome to the studio. In just a moment, we're going to introduce Charles Perry, but first joining us in the studio, Sarah-Lowe. She's an Atlanta real estate broker and reality. Yeah, I was going to say realty, but she's also she's a realty reality TV personality. Yeah,
right. That she is.
Nice. So, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and so you enjoyed your commute over. We had a little bit of a snow flurries this morning, right?
Yeah, it was nice. Took my daughter to school. The flurries started coming down, and she was mad. She was really hoping that school would be canceled.
Back in those days, it is a different perspective as a kid and an adult, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll be with you in just a moment, but if you just kind of like to give us a little teaser of what you might be sharing with folks this morning.
Well, just kind of current real estate trends, primarily in the Buckhead, North Atlanta communities, and what's going on, with the Atlanta Beltline and, what's happening here in Atlanta as far as real estate goes.
And we'll do a little teaser on your TV show as well, right?
Yeah. So I had the, opportunity to be on a TV show, reality TV show about real estate. So that was a lot of fun. It aired on WeTv, and so we'll be touching on that a little bit as well.
Nice. Well, now you're on reality radio.
Reality radio.
We need to get one of those, right? Sarah would host. I think she can host that, right? Yes or yes, Craig?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So, and you can check her out all over social media at Sarah Sells Atlanta.
Sarah Sells ATL.
ATL. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. ATL, which everybody in Atlanta knows that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sarah-Lowe Estate. So we'll .com. We'll check in with you in just a moment. So let's introduce and welcome to our studio Charles Perry, the COO. Is there an L missing on that? Because you're a pretty cool dude, yeah.
I'll take that.
All right, so you've visited. We've known each other for a little bit. You've been in the studio in the past, but it's been
absolutely
probably over a year, maybe a year and a half.
A couple of years,
probably, yeah. So lots been happening. So we'll get some updates on that. But meanwhile, I love this bio. Charles Perry is a superb husband.
Superb
husband, father, brother, son, cousin, business owner, uncle. Grand Poopah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're speaking about Charles, you think about all the good times you experienced and all the great things you've accomplished. Knowing how to run a business is obviously the key ingredient to Charles Madness. Is that for real?
That is really, really true.
Is it registered? Charles Madness. Do you have that registered or trademark?
Trademark.
You might want to jump on that. Hurry up.
We're going to get on that before the end of the show.
Please.
We'll resell it to you. Yeah.
Let me see if the domain's available.
That's our deal here. Yeah. All right. So we're going to kind of jump into it, but before we maybe just go ahead and give out at the top your point of contacts and your social media website, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, the best way to really get in contact with me or the company itself is definitely through our website at tior-media.com. Our social medias, our handles are at tior-media. Social media, you can find me at Charlie Tior. So, and of course, Snapchat is where I'm usually carrying most of my candid conversations.
He's a one-man walking media machine. Yeah,
there you go. So speaking to that, tior-media.
Yeah.
What? Tell us the where that comes from. What's behind Tior?
Well, that's one of my favorite questions. Me and my wife, obviously, well, not obviously, my wife is the CEO, so she is my big boss. And we had a very candid conversation of what our business was going to stand for, and it stood for at that point what we were going through was some reality. And we said, wow, man, everybody's kind of going through reality in this small business world, this startup world, and this is ours. So that's where the hence name, This Is Our Reality, came.
Oh, okay.
This is our reality.
Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And your focus, is it more of a digital asset type of business or?
Yeah, well, we utilize digital tools because that's what we come up in. But our focus is definitely on the startup and small business.
What have you found have been the fundamentals with using digital assets in building businesses today?
Well, the first part is owning it, owning your digital assets. And, so often I get customers who are in such a tangle with their website guy. And it's like, I can't get my information. I can't get you to act. It's so much, but you should have a mastery control of all of those digital assets.
So you have a process that you send all of your clients through to make sure they secure, like, Charles Madness or something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. And I know originally when we interviewed you quite something about, like I said, 2 years ago, a big part of your business was in video production. I'm looking at the site now. You do training, marketing, sports and event marketing.
Yes. Talk
to us about your video production element.
Well, we also understood that, of course, video was such a high converting aspect of digital media that it was something that we just couldn't ignore. And being that I started a lot of it from the film, from the cinematography point of view, it was just mandatory that we added because our customers are like, where do we get it from, especially these 15-second commercials? How at least do I do it myself?
It had nothing to do with Google owning YouTube and that being the number 2 searched.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. What have you found that's new and up and coming with video that you see that's going to pretty much have some legs for a long time?
I definitely say, of course, I'm going to say Snapchat. I think there's for the business standpoint, it's a very personal relationship-based conversation, candid conversation you can have, and customers are just really looking to have that nowadays. So for video, that's really, really good, and I think there's some really good tools you can use to record that video as well.
And do you send out blogs to pretty much explain a lot of what you do, or do you have a book behind you, or why do people come to your site, you being that wealth of knowledge?
Well, generally it's I come from, even though I do a lot of digital aspects, I did a lot of physical networking, and I met a lot of people. And based off those physical relationships I did build, I'm able to communicate to them through our email channels and also our social and primarily our blog.
What would you say is autonomous to startup?
The word autonomous I think is a really, really cool word. Autonomous, if you think about the autonomous cars Volvo and Tesla are putting together, the idea of being able to take my hands, I've tried it before. It doesn't really work without the vehicle, but I took, taking your hands and your feet off the wheel and concentrating on other things, that time-saving mastery point of view is what a business gets to use for their communication. So they want to take a mastery communication level type of sales approach, satisfaction, support approach.
So why would a business need that in communication?
Well, the communication is key to everything, right? Without the communication, you can't obviously can't get any sales. You can't relate to your customers in any type of form or fashion, and nowadays and age, we can really just jump around from business to business. So you have to have a reason to keep me there. So that communication is engagement key. Absolutely.
So you're talking about the driverless car?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that, to my opinion, that can't come soon enough with everybody texting and everything.
2017. They're
really?
They're releasing 100 Volvos, releasing 100 fully autonomous vehicles in Sweden.
So Volvo's going to be first to market with that.
Yes.
I know Google's already been doing it out in California on betas. It's on the road on their test tracks, if you will.
Right.
But I'm telling you, it needs to get here quicker, right? So people can do all those interactions besides driving. They do everything else in the car these days except for drive. Yes or yes, right?
Yes. Well, we've had those experiences before. You ever wake up and you're in your driveway and how did I get here?
Yeah, even before technology, right? Because
Exactly.
you're just like, your mind's elsewhere. You're distracted, right? There's multiple, besides texting, there's a whole myriad of distractions that we can, engage in driving. So what you're saying is kind of the analogy to a driverless business where you can kind of put your business on autopilot,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, well, it's not the business itself, because I think when you say that, I think a lot of people may get in their mindset that I can just really sit back and let money just fall in my lap. Yeah. But it's more on the lines of just really automating the conversation.
Using the resources and systems to
Absolutely.
really maximizing them so that you can be effective in what your world class,
Right.
as I would always say, in doing,
How you're converting that conversation into a sale at the end of the day.
It's funny. Written on our board is we convert conversations to content. We're going to change that, converting conversations to sales.
Well, that's the second part.
It is, yeah.
Content to cash flow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, content
I don't know if that was
key.
subliminal or not, but it's working for me. All right, so this idea of systems, so that's what you're a big proponent of, and we've certainly, since Sea Change here at the studio, have implemented just dozens of systems that really not only leverages, but like Craig often says, do what you're world class at, but also kind of automate the things, because human nature, it kind of slips through the cracks, or things just don't tend to happen unless you have the systems in place. So talk to us about some other aspects of your business. I was looking at, talk about some mobile app marketing.
That's where it's
at, right?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love the idea of mobile apps. Kind of scare people, so I say kind of call it mobile marketing. But the idea of having your brand or your business in those stores, those related stores, are cool by nature, but the communication you get through push notifications is bar none one of the best communication platforms you'll ever see in this 2016 in a way.
And those are typically have been historically for B2C, and that's still a huge play, right?
Yeah.
Is there examples of kind of B2C where the mobile marketing? But it's definitely a larger share in the B2C, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because that's where, you have a flux of customers utilizing the application. Take, for example, like a pizza joint. It works very well for them because they can do things like loyalty.
Or for a realtor.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Look, I need to get my mobile app.
Yeah, there you go.
We
Done
integrate
deal.
with IDX, so.
See, we just turned conversation into a
nice.
we just turned a conversation into a sale right there. There you go. So yeah, it's very exciting, the space, and it's ever changing. And I think we've talked about this before. Kind of the millennials or the younger crowd, the younger set. You're definitely in that space of.
I just made it.
Oh, you did? You just snuck in the window? Yeah. Which is kind of the best of both, right? Because you have that mindset, but you're also, we talked about the football game over recently, and that when those players come in at an early age, their mind isn't fully developed. So Charles kind of has the best of both, yes?
Yeah. It seems as though.
Right, yeah. All right, so Charles, what else do we need to know about your business, and what's coming next, I guess?
Well, I think what's really current is our workshops. They're really, really cool. It's not a cost. It's one of those just really buckle down, bring your laptop, bring your pen, your paper. Yeah, we're really just going through like the actual pieces, the landing pages, the websites, the content, the blogging, the email marketing, what I should use, and just really laying it out so a small business owner, whether they're going to do it themselves or not, they have the tools to either do it or give it to somebody else to do it.
And similar to our earlier conversation when we talked about in another show, giving out those secrets, giving out the value, to show you how vast landscape that is, and that you need help in harvesting all of the jewels and that are there. So,
well, not only bringing in subject matter experts, but having a set of eyes take a look, because we're pretty excited about our new website and all the moving parts and pieces to it. But there's always different perspectives of how much is enough or too much, and how can you make it more user friendly and all that good stuff. So, if I'm hearing you right, you're saying you do like a workshop where folks can bring in their website, if you will, or their marketing tools that they're currently using, and kind of a hands-on classroom style.
Absolutely.
I love that idea.
Use what you have.
Yeah.
If you already have something in the working, we're not here to destroy it sometimes.
Yeah.
We just help enhance it.
So open-ended class where you get input from other people, I think that's very healthy.
Yeah,
as well.
big time.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know it all either.
That exchange of So, well, one person in the studio knows it all. I'm not going to say his name, but
Yep,
his initials are Craig Williams.
not even close. Not even
I'm
close.
just messing with you, buddy. So, but meanwhile, we're going to get your point of contact one more time. But on the class schedules, does that happen on a regular basis, or where? Or what's the structure?
They happen as often as we can,
as needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, the best way to find them is to go to tior-media.com/P3web. Is where we're always going to have the most current workshop. So if the timer is already going, that means that one's already up.
We'll host a workshop here, right?
Yeah,
bring in your,
that'd be great.
Yeah, please.
All right, so Charles, sit tight here just for a minute. We're going to move over to Sarah. Thanks again for being on now the Pro Business Channel studios here in Buckhead.
Thank you.
All right. And so up next, we want to welcome back to the show Sarah-Lowe. She's Atlanta real estate broker and reality TV personality, proud mother and Atlanta resident. Sarah-Lowe has been in Buckhead community. We love that, right in our backyard, for well over a decade, and credits her southern roots. I got to hear some of that southern accent in a minute.
You'll hear it.
Okay, sweet. And your passion and love of residency in Georgia. Georgia is an amazing place to live and work and play, right? Mm-hmm. Your knowledge of the community, local events, various Atlanta pockets is second to nature. I want to maybe hear about some of the pockets that most folks maybe don't realize are in our backyard, right? Yep. And then if being a single mother and top producing real estate broker isn't enough, you can also catch Sarah on WeTV's new reality TV show called Selling It in the ATL. Welcome to Pro Business Channel.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. And we want to remind our listeners, you're listening to the Pro Business Channel studios here and the Buckhead Business Show, sponsored in part by the Buckhead-Business-Association. So, Craig, what's first up? What's on your mind?
Definitely want to hear about these trends. I mean, I know real estate is on the rise here in Atlanta, but what have you found as real estate trends?
I would say 2016 so far, we have to talk about the Atlanta Beltline and how big that is, to the Atlanta market. I primarily work and have worked for the past, almost 6 years, primarily in Buckhead and North Atlanta communities. But with the Atlanta Beltline coming in, it's taken me to some neighborhoods that I haven't worked in before. Yeah. Old Fourth Ward is on fire. Yeah. Inman Park, Glenwood Park, Grant Park. I'm even selling homes, near Turner Field, in the Spring Hill community, which is right next door to Grant Park. So people are seeing what's happening and are buying, in town. They want to be in town. 20 years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago, everybody wanted, that big piece. They wanted suburbs. They wanted land. They wanted a fenced-in yard. Little did they know they were going to have to sit in traffic for 2 hours, 2 and 3 hours a day.
And then have to go cut that grass.
And then have to go cut that grass. And then get home. It's time to eat dinner. It's time for bed. And the Atlanta Beltline, it's really bringing live, work, play, all here to the city. And people want that. They want to be able to, walk to work, walk to the grocery store, get off of work, walk the dog, and have time.
And being able to bring those communities together. The biggest thing that when I used to go on the Beltline tours, even before they were finishing a lot of the areas that are completed now, the vision of bringing communities together and where it would take you even in a car longer to get to the other neighbor or neighboring area that you would go to, and you could just take a nice stroll and be there in minutes.
Absolutely,
very important.
It's really connecting Atlanta. It's connecting like 45 neighborhoods. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
and it seems like you've been able to take advantage of not only the film industry, the real estate industry, and just life in general, and be able to display that. Share with me how you're integrating a lot of what you're doing in the office, in the behind the camera, and how are you displaying and sharing the power of the community that we're in here in Atlanta?
It's really a balance. Like I said, I'm a mother first and foremost, real estate agent, and was on this reality show, and it was a lot of work. But it's nice. I was approached by Carlos King. He's a really hot producer. He produced Real Housewives of New Jersey, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and boatloads of other, TV shows. So, I was approached by him, to do this reality show about real estate. And I was a little apprehensive at first. I was like, oh my gosh, another reality show full of drama. He assured me that it wasn't going to be too much drama.
Sure,
but yeah, okay, whatever.
Just sign here, yeah.
Yeah, but I really wanted to use it as a platform, to really show others, the Atlanta market, just what it has to offer, all these neighborhoods that are hot here. I mean, we really are an amazing city.
Yeah.
We really, really are. And the real estate market here is on fire.
Yeah. And you've seen a lot of growth growing up in this area. What are some of the biggest things, the biggest surprises to yourself, having been familiar from here and whatnot?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've been in Atlanta for about a decade now. And, to me, when I first moved here, everybody wants to be in Buckhead, and it's still the place to be, in my opinion.
Here.
But
Here.
just what's surprising to me, as a real estate agent, is just how the city is growing and how I'm working in some of these parts of town. These certain neighborhoods that I may not have known otherwise if it had not been for the Atlanta Beltline. So I guess that's surprising to me, just, some of these neighborhoods that are really growing, and I go back to Old Fourth Ward, 2 or 3 years ago, Old Fourth Ward had one of the highest crime rates in Atlanta. And look at it now. You have townhomes going in the 750, 800, thousand range.
So valuation has gone up on all of the properties because of the accessibility.
Exactly. Yeah. So, that's just a huge surprise to me. And just, the new construction, coming back in, new construction right now is really, really hot in the 700 to 750,000 range.
I think the new construction with completion, because we had a lot of new construction in Buckhead we were staring at for a while.
Yeah, that's true. But, they're building now and they're pre-selling, and, they are actually selling. I know John Wheeland is doing a lot in the city.
Outstanding.
So what are some of these, you mentioned, well, first of all, I'm now definitely hearing the Southern accent coming out. Yeah. I wasn't so sure earlier, so what kind of keeps you inspired? You're spinning a lot of plates there. What kind of, we had some folks in here with the electric vehicles and talking about putting fuel in your tank. What puts fuel in your tank and keeps you energized?
My daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's 12 years old. She goes to school here in Buckhead, goes to Sutton, and she's
school.
always been my inspiration. I wanted her to have more than I did growing up.
Right,
I hail from a large Southern family, 6 kids.
Oh, wow.
We didn't have it. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I just want to be able to, let her have, a different experience. I wanted her to go to the same school, because growing up we didn't go to the same schools. We were kind of all over the place, and she
new friends all the time.
All the time. So I just, she's my inspiration. I just want her to have the best, and that's what I'm doing.
Is she going to be taking over the family business, or?
Great question.
I'm trying to get her into real estate. She said she wanted to be a doctor for the longest time, an anesthesiologist, and she Googled how much they made and was like, "Mama," ever since she was like 6-year-old, that's what she wanted to be. But recently, she took a field trip, and they I forgot what it's called, something where they get appointed like different jobs, and she was the CEO of AT&T that day, and she Googled how much money they made. She's like, "Mom, I thought doctors made the most money. I want to be a CEO." I was like, "You do that."
Have her Google the insurance cost of being a doctor, and she might change her mind.
Right?
And liability.
Liability. Yes, that's true.
I could see her doing some home tours with you or whatever, right? And helping move some property for you.
She's been with me on a few, open houses.
Give that youth perspective.
Yes. Yep.
So, what do you attribute your success to in terms of what you've accomplished so far?
First and foremost, I want to talk about the Buckhead-Business-Association and how amazing it's been for my business. I joined the Buckhead-Business-Association about 3 years ago. I was VP of Socials for what year was it? 2014, I think it was. Yeah, and it was just, I didn't join the BBA to network and get business. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to just get in, get to know the movers and shakers
Right.
of Buckhead, and just create those relationships. And it's been amazing for my business.
So there's
Really amazing.
there's a shout out for the BBA right
Most
there, man.
definitely.
We love
and their
that.
community involvement. I mean,
Yes.
and having a daughter, I know how. I've got 4 daughters myself,
wow.
and I know how important. And they grew up in this area. The
Yeah.
schools here, Sarah,
Yeah.
and they're very involved. Those communities, the
Yeah.
schools, and the communities itself. And with the BBA, you get the same. You get the same perpetual
Yes.
type of outlook on things.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always abreast of what's developing in the area and giving you that picture, that full picture, and how you can be engaged. And that's what, like you said, that the membership has its privileges, but it also has other benefits as well that help you holistically in business and personal life as well.
And, people, for example, on the show, on our reality show, I brought the CEO of the Atlanta Beltline. I met the CEO through the Buckhead Business Association.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, had it not been for the Buckhead Business Association, I don't know, where I would have bumped into, someone like that. So you never know who you might meet on the Thursday morning at 7:45 a.m.
There you go. and that opened up the concept. I mean, is that part of what you built your treatment around for your show as far as, integrating the different communities? Yeah,
it is. And, just establishing those relationships, like I said, once again, with the key players here in Atlanta,
So folks, you heard it here. Membership, who knows, may open up to your own reality show series.
Well, you never know.
You never know. Nonsense.
No guarantee on that, but yeah, listening to that, why wouldn't you join the BBA, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of the best spent marketing dollars, and the opportunities it gives you out throughout the year, throughout the month. So, talk to us about what's a challenge in your business on a day-to-day basis. That
I would have to say the biggest challenge in my business personally is. Because I am a single mother, just balancing time. As a real estate agent, we aren't 9 to 5. I don't clock out at 5 o'clock and go home and cook dinner. And I'm balancing. Helping her with homework, making sure she has dinner, making sure she's in bed at a decent time, and just balancing everything is the biggest challenge right now. And she tells me all the time that I work too much.
Yeah.
So just once a month I try to set aside some time to do something, where there's go to Dave & Buster's or Sky Zone, or the balance is the most challenging part of it for me. I'm trying to think some other challenges. I mean, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of real estate agents here in Atlanta, and everybody knows a real estate agent.
Right. That's true.
So just setting yourself apart from the rest and knowing the market and knowing the trends and knowing what's happening is most important.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because all businesses has competitors, but there's certain industries that I used to live out in California. They said at one point 1 in every 10 people had the real estate license. I mean, not that they were actively practicing, but
it's a big piece of land.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You get that.
Right.
So tell us, what's a good day look for you? What does it look like for you?
A good day for me is just being out and about in these streets and listing homes. When I'm at the office, sitting at the office, it's rare. I'm not really making money. I'm doing paperwork.
Right.
But if I'm out and about and not in the office, I'm listing properties. I mean, I have a big investor right now, and we just listed 11 properties last week. So I mean, it's insane. Like I'm pulling my hair out, but I'm balancing it and making it happen. So yeah, that's what a good day for me is, just being busy.
So you've built credibility, obviously, through the work and the passion you have for the community and real estate, and now you've set yourself apart as far as being, that reality personality, which speaks to some credibility, and perception is reality in this society.
Yeah.
What's next for you as far as how to set yourself apart even more?
Just continuing to build relationships in the Atlanta community, and last year I sold a lot of inventory. I had a lot of inventory, and I think this year I just want to focus on some bigger listings.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
So just establishing those, continuing to establish those relationships, in the Buckhead and North Atlanta communities, and I worked my butt off last year, and I just really want some bigger listings this year.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've earned it. Well, I can't believe it. I'm looking at the clock. We are literally out of time. Surprisingly, it just flew by. But so So, Sarah, let listeners, folks know the best way to reach out to you and point of contact.
Yep. So you can find me on social media at Sarah Sells ATL, and that is Sarah with an H.
Okay.
And then, you can visit my website. You said that you tried
Sarah,
to go on it.
It's there, sarah-lowe's-estates.com.
Yeah, sarah-lowe-estates.com.
Two E's in there, back to back, yeah.
2 E's back to back.
That's it.
All right, so Sarah, Charles, thanks for being here. Charles, one more time, how do folks reach out to you?
They can reach me at tior-media.com or at tior-media.
And your cell phone, social security number, credit card. We'll talk after the show, yeah. All right, folks, thanks for joining us on the Buckhead Business Show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us and our guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media links here to share today's show and stay tuned for the next episode of the Buckhead Business Show. Brought to you by the Buckhead-Business-Association.